babies, and welcome back to Monday's episode. And what day are we filming on today? Monday. So it feels like I'm going live for you guys, except for I still have to film this whole thing and I still have to edit it, but that's okay because I had an amazing weekend. But you guys aren't here to hear about
I would highly recommend Monday.com because it can streamline your operations. And Tech Philippines.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Amanda Pisciuco, PhD clinical sexologist, and we're going to talk about clitoral stimulation. Stay until the end to get an excerpt from my book, Playtime. Today, I'm going to talk about ways to help you touch your partner better or touch yourself better. We want you to understand the clitoris and the pleasure it can bring. Also, know that enjoying clitoral pleasure along with penetration is a better and easier way after 20 to 30 minutes of stimulation to actually get an orgasm if you're having problems and you feel like you're pre-orgasmic. So other than the brain, the clitoris is the primary sex organ in the female body. The clitoris is a structure set up just for pleasure. It has as many, if not more, nerve endings than the penis, and it's this little button that goes all the way into the body. There's legs and bulbs of the clitoris that all engorge with blood, so women get erections inside their body just like men get erections. And that is all blood flow going to the genitals. Reaching climax is, of course, easier when you know what you like. So we're talking about techniques today. First of all, use a water-based lube or use something like an almond oil if you're not allergic to it. Many people are allergic to common things, so you want to be sure to test this out on a different part of your body, not the most sensitive parts of the body, before using this as an aid for solo sex. Put lube or oil on the vulva, which is the external part of the genitalia. Open up the labias, and then you'll see the clitoris. You can do different things with the clitoris for stimulation. One of the things that you can do after putting lube is close up the labia and the vulva and do layering. What that means is taking your hand over different pretty little baby. Yeah, yeah. Pretty little baby. Pretty little baby.
Yeah, I don't know.
Different layers of clothes and putting pressure just to warm up the area. It's like putting pressure on the pubic mound, just welcoming it, waking it up.
So let's face it, most women are not going to naturally have a floodwater response to sexual stimuli, but there are two really surefire ways and techniques that will increase the odds each and every time. Now, the periurethral glands or the Skene's glands is an area that actually sits behind the pubic bone and surrounds the urethra. So if you reach down in that area beneath, behind where the pubic hair is supposed to be, there's a bone right there. That's the pubic bone, right? Now, the front of that pubic bone is connected to the deep fascia of the clitoris. Now, if you press the front of the pubic bone and or that area right behind it, it feels fantastic because the deep tissues of the clitoris are right there. And the back of that pubic bone is connected to the periurethral glands, the female prostate. So if you're using your finger to explore, you naturally can't go wrong angling upwards and sometimes angling up towards the pubic bone because you're actually going to stimulate the periurethral glands, which sits on top of the vaginal wall, right? Is that making sense? So if we take it one step further, and like if I have a little model that I made of the clitoris really is much bigger than you think it's going to be. You take the clitoris, and so if all of this blue and purple is the clitoris, right? So you got the clitoris up top, you got the clitoris forming the walls of the vagina, and you're stimulating from inside, because remember, clitoris makes up sensitive parts of the vaginal tissue. You start to see why angling upward feels so great. And remember, this area is sitting right behind the pubic bone. So that's why grinding and dancing can actually feel so great, right? Because of this anatomy. Almost 3/4 of women say they don't have orgasm when they're having penetrative sex. So here is a really small fix that if you your urethral glands and the clitoris by switching the focus to have a rhythmic movement and stroke angled upward, and
It
to make sure that there's
depends.
always going to be some form
You
of
can do it
pressure
all
in the
the
clitoral
time.
areas. Even if squirting isn't in the cards, the results will be way more explosive than if you don't, right? So always make sure that there's some level of clitoral pressure, clitoral friction, or clitoral stimulation to get things going, right? Now the second technique is something that's actually has a term for it. It's a Central African technique called kunyaza or kachabali, and this term actually literally means to make urinate. And this practice has been documented. They've studied it because the results of it have been phenomenal. So this is basically where a man rhythmically and continuously strikes the glands of the clitoris. So that would be this area, the outside part, with his erect penis. And what he's actually doing is he's taking and putting it between, he's holding the head of his penis between his forefinger and his thumb. And he's basically taking it and flicking it on the glands of
How
the
long will you
clitoris.
like to
And
do
he's
it?
flicking it in a rhythmic
Gabriel,
motion,
how long
up
will you
and
like to do
down,
it?
up and down, sideways, backwards, almost like the Zorro type of effect. Now, when you analyze what's happening in this technique, basically what's happening is a small amount of penetration, then removal, then taking the erect penile tissue along with the corona or the head and rhythmically moving it on the exterior of the vagina. So basically using it to stimulate those points on the exterior. Now, if you talk to women, say, what is one of the favorite parts of sex that you can recognize? And most women will go to that very first moment that it goes in. What's happening here and what practitioners of kunyaza recognize is that if you focus enough rhythmic attention on the clitoral tissue, that you can potentially have women begging and screaming for more. So this technique that they've actually documented that they're passing down from generation to generation is actually about, and it came about historically because women were basically saying, yeah, this is great, but it's not really getting me there. So this technique kind of caught on like wildfire. Men telling their sons, telling their nephews, women telling other women, and it becomes this practice where basically using the penile tissue to stimulate the clitoral tissue without worrying about penetration. And then after she has this ejaculatory squirting experience, then they use even more of that fluid to kind of propel forward the penetrative act. So what this does are two things. One, it creates a deeper connection between the two partners, right? Because it's not all about the penetration and the pounding, but it's also about the connection and making sure that she gets hers before her partner gets theirs. Because we know that women can be multi-orgasmic and have orgasms from so many different things. This just sets the tone and sets the time off right for the trajectory. So if squirting is kind of in the future, if it's been something that you've been considering and wondering if it's for you, if it's something that could happen, or that you could help precipitate or take part in the activity, then consider one or both of these techniques, adding it to the repertoire, remembering that the clitoral tissue is really the key to squirting, and that if it's during penetration, what you're going to have to focus on, remember angling upwards so that you can actually reach let's talk about female ejaculation, aka squirting, because the great debate continues about whether the gush of fluid is actually urine or something very similar to the male explosion. But also, we're going to talk about it because it's something seen as rare and in some societies actually considered to be sacred. So, to be able to either have one or to be able to help your partner to have one, let's get to it. So, female ejaculation was first described as love juice in ancient Indian textbooks. And during the last 100 years, scientific focus has really been primarily focused on understanding what is it? The makeup of the fluid, which has been thought to either basically be urine, diluted urine, or prostate fluid. Yes, prostate fluid. And in this video, we're going to discuss what the fluid from women who squirt is typically made of.
You know
We'll
how
also
to lick
discuss the
it.
anatomy that makes squirting possible, because let's face it, not all women are able. And lastly, we'll discuss 2 surefire sexual techniques to precipitate geyser-like activity right down there. So let's get into it. So first, let's take a look at this study. Now, although it only follows 2 women, this study shines some great light on this much debated topic of to pee or not to pee. So they took 2 premenopausal women. They were both ages 44 and 45. And these were women who reported that they were able to explode and squirt during orgasms. So they took the samples of their urine before they had sex, and then they actually had to masturbate to get a second sample, which was female ejaculate, or their squirting fluid. They looked at the fluid to compare it to the urine sample. And they also took that same fluid and compared it to male prostate
3
fluid
people
to
here.
see
Hello.
what exactly
How
the
are
fluid
you?
was most similar to. Was it most like urine? Was it a urine mix? Or was it like prostate fluid? Now, for those of you who think that squirting is actually just urine, I think you're going to find this to be pretty amazing.
Oh
So
my
you
god.
see
So
W1 equals female ejaculate, and all the way to the right you see male ejaculate.
hi.
What you
Please
notice, look at the
subscribe.
level of PSA
Please.
or prostatic fluid in female ejaculate, 213,
So how about you?
105,
Do you know how
and male
to
ejaculate, it's between
lick
110
woman's
upwards
pussy
to
very
2,000,
well?
right? So there's a lot
How long can you lick
PSA
it?
supporting the fact that this is prostate fluid. And if you notice, comparing the female ejaculate to the voided
Yeah.
urine, there aren't
my
a ton
God.
of similarities.
Ugh.
But what it does appear, based off of this study, is that it's a mix between prostate fluid and some urine, but more similar to prostate fluid than it is to urine. Okay, so I think it's safe to say that when we were looking at these 2 ladies, the revelation there is that it is close to prostate fluid. Now, most scientific literature distinguishes female ejaculation and squirting as 2 distinct events with different contexts. Squirting is explained as consisting of a larger amount of water-like liquid, similar to
Hey guys, so in this video I will give you the 5 best clitoris stimulation techniques. These techniques to stimulate the clitoris I have found to be the most effective, the most powerful, the most reliable for the majority of women. So there are lots and lots of different techniques to touch the clitoris and to stimulate the clitoris.
Hi.
By all means, this list is not exhaustive, but I've chosen these 5
Hello,
techniques
babe.
as
Hi.
the most effective ways to stimulate the clitoris for 2 reasons.
Would you like to
First
pick
of all,
me
they
up?
will
What
work
do you
more
mean, would you
commonly.
like to
So
pick
there
me
might
up?
be some techniques
How
to
are
stimulate
you?
the clitoris
Yes, I'm
that
doing
very
well.
nice, but they work for only a small number of women. And secondly,
my
there are
God.
some, kind of fiddly,
Ugh.
technically difficult ways to touch the
I'm
clitoris.
sleepy.
Quite easy to get wrong and to hurt a woman, or maybe they're just quite difficult to get right and to give a good sensation. So over the years of working with lots and lots of different women, I would say that these 5 clitoral stimulation techniques work really consistently. They will work really well for most women. These techniques will stimulate the clitoris really well, will give it a really nice sensation, and they will be fairly easy for you to master and to perform. They're not technically complicated. But please also remember that the absolutely ultimate person who will tell you what is the
Hey,
best
from where are
clitoral
you
stimulation
guys?
technique to use is going to be the woman herself,
Do you
because
like to
women are
use
so
condoms or
different
no?
that there will be some kind of
It's
movement
just
that
in
works
case if
particularly
you
well
will
for
see
her,
me,
and
what
only she will be able to
is
tell you. So you
the
have to
first thing
explore with
that you
her.
will have
And
to
just
do
to let
with
you know,
me?
before we start, I have a free practical training for you on these techniques, where I explain them in more detail in a sequence how they all work together.
Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. Oh my god, I only got 3 people. Oh yeah.
So is it best to open the vagina during oral? This is a great question, Marcus. So here, what I want to do is put a picture up again. And, actually I'm going to bring a model next time. So first let me say every lady's a little different in terms of what she likes with her oral. But I'll tell you this too, if you find that she kind of avoids it or, doesn't really want you to do it, that is a sign that she probably doesn't think you're very good at it and doesn't enjoy it, right? And then unfortunately, she may not be honest with you about what can make it better or what she does like. So what we'll go over then are just some key things that the average lady is going to enjoy more than not, right? So first, let's start with then what would be considered annoying, right? It is annoying if you just open it up and go, very annoying. I don't care if that tongue is inside or outside, that's just a no. So don't do that.
I'm
Another
just
thing that's really
watching like
annoying is
this.
spitting on it. In certain instances when you're pretending like flooding somebody out or something like that, that might be a bit of a turn on. But for the average person, spitting on it is not going to be fun. It's going to lead to a bit of a yeast infection the next day, so nobody really kind of likes that. The other thing that becomes annoying is not knowing what to do with the clitoris once you get it in. Okay, so 2, as women age, the clitoris actually atrophies or becomes smaller, so it might actually be a little harder to find. And what remains sometimes as aging takes place is the skin is still there, but the little clitoris part, the part that everybody's pretty familiar with, is a little harder to find. So one thing that you can do that's kind of pretty fail-safe is to, once you locate the clitoris, locate it first with your finger so you know where it is. You don't want to get there and start fumbling around and because then that throws everything off, because a lot of times women are a little uncomfortable the way she might taste, or she might think she has a little odor, or she might think she's big, or she might have a few hang-ups. You want to go directly to what you were down there to do. So first, when you get there, you want to make it like, wow, this is amazing, this is enjoyable. So you might even want to make like a sound, like make a like, oh, this is amazing, like make a hum, right? Because if you're humming, you're releasing nitric oxide down there, and you're actually starting to turn yourself on, right? Because typically, if you go down on someone, you want to use this as an opportunity for you to stiffen up, right? Because you're going to enjoy it so much that it's going to be a pleasure to see them get turned on, and then now you can get turned on, right? So you do a nice little hum, and then what you want to do is you want to take it and put it kind of right in your mouth, and just gently go back and forth on it. Kind of think about it like if how you would want her to do on you, this is what you want to do on her, but on a little tiny delicate area, right? Now, 2, as As we know, since the clitoral fibers actually dip down into the walls of the vagina, you also want to consider using your fingers, putting a little pressure. Some women will like pressure on top of the mons pubis, where like the pubic hair is, and some are going to want pressure inside. Some may not want full pressure, so you can even get away with just putting like the entrance way of your thumb, just right on the entrance to kind of feel it out. But the whole thing is, when ladies say, don't stop, that means don't change your rhythm, don't change positions, don't stop doing what you're doing. And unfortunately, a lot of times, if we say don't stop, the partner may.
Do you want to give your woman worse? Do you want to give your woman a really good head? Listen. Hey guys, I'm Stephanie Ganowski, sexologist and sex coach for men. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you've been subscribed. So when it comes down to go down on a woman, there are a few things you want to keep in mind. I personally believe these 5 are the most important, so check them out. So number 1, don't go straight down and just get right to it until she's warmed up, until you know she's really warm. Because either she's going to feel like it's being rushed, she's not going to be anywhere near the state of arousal she needs to be in to get close, so it's going to take a really long time, because you may be doing the right thing, but she's just rushed it, so her body's not ready. Try to have some foreplay in there. Make out with her, touch her, kiss her legs, give her a massage first. Something that's going to get her really in the mood to the point where she's starting to crave your head velvet. This is also going to make the experience feel so much better for both of you, because you won't be uncomfortable being down there for so long, like trying to figure out what's going to get her there. And she won't be in that place where she's a little ticklish. Some men will tell me, my woman is ticklish when I go down on her, and that's often a sign of her just not being aroused enough. Thing to remember, number 2, touch her body and look at her when you're down there. Engage, do some moaning, say something to her, touch her thighs, use your fingers. This actually keeps the arousal going and keeps it building when you're connected with her and in that moment with her. If you feel like you're not in a place to comfortably do this with your partner because you feel like your relationship is in a tough spot, then reach out to me for one-on-one coaching. I'd love to help you. You can find that link in the description of this episode. Thing to remember, number 3, it's safe to say that you want to start gentle and build intensity as her arousal builds. Okay, so she may be moaning more intensely, she may be wanting more and saying faster or harder, however she phrases it, because most of the time you don't want to be directly on the clit. It depends on the woman, but for the most part you want to be on the clitoral hood, or you want to be around the area, like going back and forth where there's clitoral direct stimulation, and then you're moving away and you're licking an emotion that involves the two. And if she says, oh, it's too intense, it's too much, that doesn't mean you have to stop altogether. You can just use the flatness of your tongue instead of the pointedness of your tongue. All right, so if you're covering the surface area, you're less direct on the specific parts, and it's going to dial down the build-up and the intensity. And that brings us to thing to remember number 4, which is stay consistent once you know she's enjoying it. So if she's telling you, oh my God, this is so amazing, keep going, keep the rhythm you have going. Because so many guys will go faster and more intense when she's like, yes, but that really throws off what she's enjoying. Right? If she's like going crazy up there and she's like, oh my God, yes.
Hi, Larry. Good morning. Hello. I'm watching,
speed up, that means you are stopping what she's asking
like
you
I'm
to
watching,
stop, right? Like she's really
what is this, like,
rhythm in a certain way you're doing it, and if you go too intense and too full force,
like gave her a great head, 5 steps. Yeah, good morning. Oh yeah, we all want great head, of course. Yeah. How about you, Larry? Do you know how to do it well?
Or if you go a lot more gentle, it's steering away from what she's really enjoying and what's going to bring her orgasm. She may be going crazy and what you're doing is slow. Try to just keep on doing what you're doing instead of matching what she's acting like up there. And thing to remember, number 5, check in and ask her what she enjoyed most about you giving her head. Saying something like, it seems like you prefer I go on the slower side the majority of the time. Is that how you like it? That's an observation, and then you're questioning to get the truth from her. Or you could just simply ask, is there anything specific that you really love about getting oral? And if that way you just put it out there for anything that she might say where, oh yeah, I really love this, and I loved when you did that, right? If you can ask her this question kind of soon after you have an experience together, then she can use the experience with you as an example of pointing out things she liked, and maybe even things she wasn't crazy about, which is still information that's very necessary and that we always want to get from our partners, because we want to know what's not working just as much as we want to know what does work. Don't be afraid or feel any shame around receiving information where she's like, yeah, I didn't love when you did that. It's okay. Another woman probably would love it, but it's important you know she doesn't. And that's cool, and that's fine. And like I said earlier, if you want to apply for one-on-one coaching, work with me, my application link is in the description of this video. See you next time.
Hey, Larry.
Once I learned these 7 things, I've been able to give women some of the most intense and expansive orgasms of their entire lives. And
Larry, I'm subscribing you using my other account. This one, Larry. This one, Larry. Yeah, still me. My second account. Yeah, still me. Oh yeah, please subscribe. I need people there. Yeah, okay, Larry. How are you, Larry? It's been a while that you're not talking to me. What's the news? Me right now, I'm here in Mactan working. Yeah. Mm. Hello, Singkick Master. Hello, hi babe. How are you? I haven't been able to connect with you. I don't know why. What happened? It's okay. It's okay. Now you're here. Yeah. I'll have to do that again.
So, thank you, Yun ako try silang steak because it's their first time to eat steak. Yes. And ako, dili na ako first time.
Ay, sorry, Tish.
Yes, of course. Dili na ako makatag sa inyo nga, pero panatuloy ako sa inyo. Your plate, please. Most welcome. So, mano akong given, girls. Pangita mo ko, kuya. Charis, wala bitaw kaya. Hoy, no need na magpalibre ba yun kaya maka-afford me. No need mag-sugar daddy kaya we have our own
I've been
money.
very busy with work and grandkids. Hi, sister. Hello. Thank you, Sing. Hello. You don't interested in my comment? Hello. Of course, I am. Why not? Oh my God. You're a drama king. You're crying now, I know. It's okay. Oh, you have 299 subscriber. I am I am your 300 subscribers now. 3 weeks ago, huh? Is this you? My goodness. So you have 300 subscriber now, right? So please subscribe also. Anna and me is the same, huh? You don't talk to me, talking me, please. Oh yeah, I do talk to you. Oh yeah, I know Punjabi. I get a lot of friends there. I am from the Philippines. I am from the Philippines, my dear friend. Yeah, how old are you? I bet you're sick, right? S-I-K-H. I gave you a moderator, babe. Did you subscribe on my other channel? My goodness. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, my 4 viewer. Hello. Thank you. Oh my God. Yes, connect, connect, connect. Connect Filipino, connect Bunchabi. Yeah, I will search sick. I hope you're subscribed on my other channel also. The, what is this? Like Ana Filipina.
Simranjit Singh, and today we're discussing Sikhism, or by its more accurate name, which I prefer, Sikh. Now, there are 27 million Sikhs worldwide. Most live in India, but there are significant populations in the United Kingdom and in the United States. However, many people don't know all that much about the Sikhs. They're sometimes mistaken to be Muslims or Hindus, and some even misconstrue the religion as a mixture of these two religions. But Sikhi is its own unique religion with its own sacred texts, founder, and identity. Now, we can't cover the entire religion in just 10 minutes. So today we're going to focus on its core beliefs and practices, which help illustrate the immense diversity of its practitioners, how the religion has developed over the past 500 years, and how Sikhs are contributing members of their societies all over the world. Sikhi originates from the Punjab region of South Asia, which spans from modern-day Pakistan to northern India. It was here in 1469 that the founder of Sikhi, Guru Nanak, was born. And his lifetime coincided with the establishment of the Mughal Empire, a Muslim-led dynasty that ruled over much of South Asia from the 16th to the 19th centuries. The early years of Sikhi are therefore shaped by growing in a religiously diverse region alongside a Hindu majority population living side by side with Muslims. According to Sikh tradition, Guru Nanak had a mystical experience around the age of 30. While bathing in a local river, he suddenly disappeared, and even though his friend thought he had drowned, he emerged from the river 3 days later, telling of an encounter he had with God. This experience set him on the path to become the first guru of the Sikhs, and he traveled far and wide sharing this new understanding of God, which is embodied in the Mul Mantar, a short hymn composed by the Guru himself. There is one God, the identity of truth, creator of all things and the all-pervading spirit, fearless and without hatred, timeless and formless, beyond birth and death, self-created, known by the grace of the Guru. Sikhs recite this on a daily basis, and in a way, this prayer summarizes basic Sikh theology, that there is one God, the creator of the universe, who is sometimes called Akal Murit, the eternal being. According to Guru Nanak, God is so limitless that humans are like fish trying to comprehend the ocean. Now, the word Guru literally means enlightener.
and in the Sikh tradition, this title is reserved for Guru Nanak and his 9 successors. The 10 Sikh Gurus are credited with fostering and cultivating the Sikh community from its establishment in the 15th century to the death of Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Sikh Guru.
Yeah, Guru Gobind Singh.
Before his death, Guru Gobind Singh passed on the title of Guruship to 2 authorities for Sikhs to follow, the Guru Granth Sahib and the Guru Khalsa Panth, the community of formally initiated Sikhs. The Guru Granth Sahib is a collection
Yeah,
of
congratulations,
hymns and poetry
baby
compiled
boy.
by the Sikh Gurus themselves. The Sikh scripture is unique in that it doesn't contain narratives. It's all music and poetry. The Guru Granth Sahib also differs from other religious texts in that it includes the writings of other religious figures, such as Muslims and Hindus. Because of these reasons,
The revelation
it's not really
of
accurate to
Waheguruji
call
ay
the
the
Guru Granth
victory
Sahib the
of.
Sikh Bible or the Sikh
Thank
Quran.
you.
Yes, it is a collection of sacred scripture, but it is different for Sikhs in that it is seen as the repository of Guru's wisdom and as the eternal Guru for the Sikh community.
This leads us to the topic of religious practice. Remember that religions are not just a collection of beliefs and doctrines, they also include what people do. Let's take the example of the Guru Granth Sahib. Because it's considered to be the Guru, Sikhs show special reverence to the book itself. The scripture is stored on raised platforms in Sikh houses of worship that represent a throne of authority. When reading from the Guru Granth Sahib, an attendant waves a ritual fan which represents how royalty was treated in the past. None of this is done to worship the book, but to show the respect that it deserves as Guru. This is why Sikh houses of worship are called Gurdwaras, which is a Punjabi word meaning door to the Guru, because it's here that Sikh communities gather and access the Guru together. The most prominent Gurdwara is Darbar Sahib
How
in
old are
Amritsar,
you?
Punjab. You can find Gurdwaras all over the world, serving as centers for Sikh congregational worship and a variety of life cycle rituals, such as baby naming, marriage, and funeral ceremonies.
The initiation ceremony is one of the most important rituals in the Sikh tradition, because undergoing this ritual means becoming Amrita. Now, what does that mean? Well, remember that Guru Gobind Singh, before his death, instituted 2 authorities to help shepherd the community going forward. The Guru Granth Sahib, the collection of scriptures, and the Guru Khalsa Panth, the community of initiated Sikhs who have committed
Thank
their
you
lives
for being
to living
here.
the ideals of Sikhi.
The tradition goes that in 1699, Guru Gobind Singh called his followers to his tent, drew his sword, and asked for volunteers to sacrifice his head. One by one, 5 Sikh men came forward, going into the tent only for Guru Gobind Singh to emerge each time with a bloody sword. However, after all of this, the Guru then emerged with all 5 men completely unharmed.
Some traditions say that Guru Gobind Singh secretly hid 5 goats in his tent and slaughtered them instead of the men. And other traditions say that these 5 men survived miraculously. Nevertheless, because of their bravery and devotion, these 5 individuals came to be the first members of the new Sikh order, the Khalsa Panth, which was a collection of disciplined individuals who committed their lives to living along the teachings of the Guru.
Because he viewed everyone as equally divine and royal, Guru Gobind Singh gave both men and
You are
women
Jain
new royal
religion. I am
names that
Rex.
subverted caste and gender distinctions. Women would carry their own lineage. the
Yeah,
last name,
yeah.
Kaur,
Well, I'm
and
Roman
men with the
Catholic.
last name, Singh. And he initiated the 5 men by giving them Amrit, a nectar substance that was made of water and sugar mixed with a double-edged sword while singing from the Sikh scripture. To this day, in Gurdwaras all over the world, Sikhs continue to administer initiation based off of this first initiation in 1699. The ceremony is led by 5 Sikhs, representing the 5 original members of the Khalsa. They take turns stirring an iron bowl of Amrit while reciting prayers. The initiates come forward and are sprinkled with the Amrit on their hair and eyes. Amrit Sanchar is sometimes described as the Sikh form of baptism, but this is not entirely accurate. Now, Christian baptism and Amrit Sanchar do both incorporate water, but for a Sikh, accepting initiation means committing to living a life according to the Guru's teachings. This includes some ethical precepts and disciplinary protocols, the most easily noticeable being the commitment to maintaining 5 articles of faith, which have come to be known to English speakers as the 5 Ks, because they each begin with the letter K. They are Kes, uncut hair, wearing a small comb called the kanga, a steel bracelet called the kara, a small knife called the kirpan, and shorts called kachera.
Some scholars have interpreted the 5 Ks through a historical lens, rooting them in the context of 17th and 18th century Punjabi military guard. For example, some scholars have said that the Gada is there to protect the wearer's sword arm. Many today interpret the 5Ks symbolically. So for example, some take the kacheta and describe them as a reminder to practice sexual restraint. And some Sikhs explain that the Kirpan is not an offensive weapon, but a reminder to always stand up for justice and against oppression. Guru Gobind Singh did not explain why he chose these
Thank
five
you.
articles.
Thank
So
you.
any explanations we offer now are purely speculative.
From where
What
are
we
you?
can say
From where are
definitively,
you, sir?
though,
From
is
where are
that
you?
For Sikhs, these 5Ks have a
Give me
deeply
your
personal
flag.
connection.
Give me your
Perhaps
flag.
the closest analogy we can give is that of a wedding ring. Can we really explain what a wedding ring means to somebody in just one sentence? It can mean love, it can mean devotion, it can mean commitment. It means different things to different people. In the same way, while the 5Ks mean different things to different people, generally Sikhs would agree that these 5 articles of faith are more than just symbols. They
What do you mean
represent
remove
a
hair?
deep personal connection between themselves and their guru.
This leads us to an important reminder. Whenever you study any religion, religions are internally diverse. They're not monolithic. A lot of what we said up until now are generalizations about Sikh belief and practice, but just like members of any other religion, Sikhs differ widely on their interpretation of their beliefs and observe their practices differently.
For example, not all Sikhs maintain the 5Ks. There are many Sikhs who cut their hair or shave or don't wear turbans at all. And this doesn't make them any less Sikh. The term Sahajdat is often used to describe those who self-identify as Sikh but don't maintain the visible Sikh identity.
Moreover, within the Khalsa itself, there's a variety of groups who differ on aspects of what it means to be Sikh.
Thank
Some who
you.
interpret the 5Ks differently.
Thank you, thank you. From where are you, friend? From where are you? Prawish Tamang. From where are you, friend? From where are you? Oh, where are you in India? We are. Are you subscribed? Please do subscribe.
Appeared to their leader in the early 20th.
Their hair or shave or don't wear turbans at all. And this doesn't make them any less Sikh. The term Sahajvati is often used to describe those who self-identify as Sikh, but don't maintain the visible Sikh identity.
Moreover, within the Khalsa itself, there's a variety of groups who differ on aspects of what it means to be Sikh. Some who interpret the 5 Ks differently, others, such as the Nanaksar movement, claim that Guru Nanak appeared to their leader in the early 20th
Yes,
century.
I will.
We don't
Thank
have
you.
time to go through each group individually.
Where are you in
but it's important
India?
to remember the internal diversity of Sikhi, so we don't form a one-dimensional opinion of the religion.
While Sikhs are an internally diverse community, there are some experiences that they share collectively. One example of a shared experience is that of racism and prejudice in modern America. Studies show that most Americans do not know who Sikhs are, and that Sikhs are experiencing increasing discrimination because of their unique
Philippines.
Anti-Sikh discrimination takes various forms, from workplace discrimination and racial profiling to school bullying. The first casualty of hate crime after 9/11 was Balbir Singh Sodhi, a Sikh American in Mesa, Arizona. His attacker, Frank Roque, spewed anti-Muslim hate speech before and after the murder. which
How about
help
you?
illustrate
Where are
how
you in
Sikhs
India?
fall within the racialized category of the apparent Muslim, a new racial category that accounts for anybody who is perceived to be Muslim based on how they look. In 2012, a white supremacist named Wade Michael Page entered a Gurdwara in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, and opened fire on the congregation, killing 6 and injuring several others. The Sikh community responded to this massacre by opening up their doors to the local community, serving all the reporters and officials
No,
who
I
came to
don't
help
use
in the aftermath of the
Instagram.
massacre. The Sikhs who participated in these efforts were drawing from ideas in the Sikh tradition, such as seva, the practice of love-inspired service, jardikala, the idea of perpetual optimism, and sarbat tapala, the upliftment of all humanity.
Although we've only scratched the surface, we hope now that you have an idea of the history and immense diversity of Sikh communities worldwide.
And if you'd like to know more, we're including a few resources in the video description below.
And as always, thanks for watching. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. This video took
Thank
so long to
you.
make that I actually grew a beard in the meantime. Special thanks to my friend and colleague Simran. He's a scholar and an activist and now a children's book author. You should all check out his upcoming children's book on Fauja Singh, who's a Sikh man who became the oldest man ever to run a marathon. You can also follow Simran on Twitter at SikhProf. Link is in the description below to pre-order the book. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, so almost.
I'm 35. I train my communication skills for 15 minutes a day. Now my boss asks me for advice before important meetings. If you want to speak smoothly, learn your speech.
What are my promises? What is my dharma? What are the deeds? What are the foundations that I will lay out to be able to walk this path towards you? You need someone to grab your hand, and this is where you meet the true Guru. Without the true Guru, you cannot walk. It is like walking on a cliff without a railing. You're bound to fall and you're bound to fail. There's never been a marriage from the beginning of time that there hasn't been a dispute. So when times get tough, you sit down with Gurban and you say, what does Guru Sahib Ji say about this? How can we bring this into our life? We think that marriage is 50-50. It's not. It's not 50-50. It's 100 and 0. Because sometimes you have to take on 100%. And sometimes you have to become 0. You can't just have even 1%. Because with 1% we won't land. There's still ego within that 1%. There will be times when you have to carry everything. And there will be times when you have to submit and bow down to each other. This relationship is built on trust. And that trust is found through detachment of the vices of this world, losing the ego, and connecting to that great creator. These lama are your experience through a spiritual awakening. And this entire life that we live, this is a small representation of the marriage that we seek with the great creator.
Alright, bye-bye for now.
Let's take the few minutes that we have and try to understand for